Cxet, the 8th letter of the 22-letter Hebrew Aleph Bet, can be seen as segregated area, kingdom of heaven, protected behind the Zion, designated exclusive pasture or paradise, fence of the Mishkan pattern. This card shows Yahweh, El-He, which brought to mind Proverbs 18:10. The name of Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. This is from an article available on erictology.net. It describes Cxet as what the connection is to. This is the place, exclusive, gated community, joined with shared interests, responsibilities, threats, consequences, common fate. From another article, Cxet is described as fence, exclusive pasture land, the corral of the set-apart ones, their warehouse, treasure chest, fortress, holding area, hugged, protected, admittance only by inoculation, grafted in, no random or automatic entry, prison, confined, solitary. If I read the chart from Aleph through Tav, there have the words restricted entry, members only, fence, confines, contain, imprison, escape, salvation, deliverance, new situation, extent, frontier, parameter, fortress, safe, walls, only one entrance, name of the owner, kingdom of heaven, sheepfold, sanctuary, home. The empire, government, dominion, group, herd of the master, equipment, locker, pasture, blue, purple, red, white linen, lit up, glowing in darkness, two herds joined by the letter Wa, as it is in heaven, a lens, system within a system, army of hosts, the fleet, kiln, mesa plateau, objective, preamble. The shield card from 2 Samuel 22, I thought was a great example of Cxet concepts, and especially the verse 51. He is a tower of his king's salvations and does kindness to his anointed one, to David and his offspring forever. The word kindness in that verse is Chet Salmik Dalet. We are given mercy as an attribute of Yahweh in Exodus 34, when Yahweh is describing himself to Moses. On page 225 in Klein's dictionary, this word is defined: kindness, goodness, mercy, affection, lovely appearance. Psalms 119, verses 57 through 64 is the Chet stanza. And reading the Chet words that begin each line would read something like this. Life's common, typical standard course is grief and beatings. The allotted assignment portion is to be stricken, smitten, scourged, eclipsed, lost from regard. Nothing but trouble, no ornament but common sickness, pandemic disease. Think about my kingdom, my Sabbath rest. Attach importance to it. Figure it out. Calculate my ingenuity about this matter. Stillness, quietness is the secret foundation upon which all else is built, and the design is worked. Inactivity. Torture is not my intention. A hobbled horse not in my fence. I have not injured with corruption. My roped off area is for determining reward or ruin. Birth pangs. Writhing in travail, the day is pledged to me. Hearken, listen, obey. Attach to me regarding the revelation of this matter as a flaming arrow at night. Join my crew by regarding this. Pay attention. Sabbath is your intimate union of affection, league of beautiful entanglement in alliance together, united, confederated organization of colored stripes, lovely appearance, a tapestry, The structure you choose to engineer crushing and oppressing one another builds stocks for your own torture, with equal regard, like as you do, shame and reproach versus tender loving kindness. You are joined together. What an invention! I have bejeweled myself by this obvious distinction of sitting quiet. I wanted to point out the similarity of Cxet to Tav and Hey in the modern script. This took me a while when looking at these letters to distinguish the difference. Again, with starting out, it's very helpful to have both the Paleo and the modern, as well as the letter available just for reference. So let's move on to dictionary practice. The Cxet section begins on page 205. The first column has interesting growth in the words and definition. So the Aleph Bet is defined as bosom, and in Aramaic, it's actually the packet inside a Bedouin's shirt. If I add a hey, it's defined as to hide or hiding place. The Aleph Bet is to love, and it goes on into like love, affection, esteem, to hide, hiding place. Just an interesting look at that letter and how those definitions begin to grow. Again, I would suggest pausing the video after the word and challenge yourself to find the word yourself if you do have a red dictionary. So we'll begin with Chet, Gimel, Gimel. On page 207 is defined to make a pilgrimage, to celebrate a feast, to dance, to reel, to be giddy. He leaped, jumped, he made a pilgrimage, he celebrated a feast, he reeled, was celebrated. Chet, Dalet, Hey. On page 208 is defined to rejoice. He was glad, rejoiced, he gladdened. Het, Kaf, Mem, Hey. On page 216 is defined wisdom, prudence, skill, learning, knowledge. Chet, Nun, Yod, Kaf. On page 224 is defined trained person. It's used in Genesis 14:14, and that is the people that went with Abraham to rescue Lot. Pupil, apprentice. Chet, Pei, Shin. On page 228 is defined to search. He searched out, examined, was searched out, was examined, was exposed. He searched through, investigated, was searched through, was disguised, he disguised himself. And a few derivative spellings. It's also defined to be free. He set at liberty, freed, was set at liberty. It's used in Leviticus 19:20. He set at liberty, freed, was set at liberty, was freed. It's also defined freedom, liberty. It's used in Ezekiel 27 verse 20. It's also vacation and holiday. Chet, Kuf. On page 229 is defined as something prescribed, enactment, decree, statute, law, rule, prescribed portion, prescribed due. The Chet Kuf Kuf is defined as justness, truth, necessity, obligation. Chet Tav Mem. On page 237 is defined to seal, to set a seal upon. He sealed, set a seal upon, he signed, affixed his signature, he concluded, finished, he subscribed to a newspaper or periodical, was sealed, was signed, was closed, he sealed up, shut up, he signed. So to review, we have Chet, the 8th letter, exclusive pasture, perfect provisions available for your prized animal. exclusive resort surrounded by the absolute best design, landscape view, and food. Protected, abundantly provided, treasure chest, best place to be. Cxet, I enclose you in my safe place of abundant provision, my fortress. You are home, hugged, protected. You have access to everything in my treasure chest. So Cxet, that 8th letter of the Hebrew Aleph Bet, and next week we'll look at Tet.